Well, here we are again with our rendition of, or edition of, Red Curtain Talk. Jada, be jealous. Yeah, yeah. I'm taking your job. No, I'm just saying. But I'm Eric Funches, the director of Trouble in Mind here at BLT by Alice Childress. If you don't know who that is, please look her up. She's got some great work out there. And for those who are not big fans of BLT, you're not the followers, you're not one of the veteran people, it stands for Biloxi Little Theater. So we have with us today Bailey Smith. Woo, the crowd went wild. Ah. So Bailey, tell us, what drew you to this play first?
So I do a lot of theater. I'm not the most keen on auditions, so anytime I see an audition come up, I do like to try and just get out there and practice more. But I do look into the show, and I did find it very interesting that there was only one white female character, and that's not very prominent.
Right,
yes, that's very unusual. So I knew it was going to be something that had purpose. I knew there was something more behind it, and I wanted to at least get in there and see what it was all about and be a part of it if you would let me. And thank you so much for letting me do that.
Thank you so much for being a part. You have been wonderful, which you're wonderful in everything.
Thank you.
For those who are the Biloxi Little Theater fans, y'all see her in so many things, and she's, just a phenomenal actress, has such a range. And so you'll see more of her range in this one. And so who is your character? Tell us about your character.
So Judy is very young. She's very fresh on the scene. She's very ambitious, but she's also a little bit naive. She doesn't completely understand the issues that they are having. She doesn't understand why it is an issue. And some of the things she says, you can kind of feel that out. She does mention that. She talks a lot about her parents and how open and accepting they are, and she doesn't understand why there's such a discord with other people. She hasn't quite figured it out yet because that's not how she grew up.
Right, and it's not even how she thinks, because I think it's more than just not how she grew up. I think it's a part of her character to not even think that way.
Right.
And because there are people who grow up in families that are full of that kind of discord, but they just don't think that way.
But they're not,
Yeah, they're just not like that. And I think that's what we end up seeing in Judy. Who do you feel is closest to Judy in the play, and why?
Closest in what way?
In the sense of, who does she relate to the best?
I think probably John, just because they are the younger, newer characters, and they are both well educated, which also is a big part of the show as well. But they did go to school for this, but they are very fresh on the scene as well. He talks about, well, this is my first thing, and Wiletta's like, don't say that. But he and Judy are still very new, and they're both kind of figuring out the ropes together. And so I feel like it's John, even though people don't want it to be John.
Right. They don't want it to be John.
They don't want it to be John, but it's John.
But it's John, and so there's several different ways that they end up being able to relate to each other. And also, for those who have looked up Trouble in Mind, you realize that it's a play within a play. So there's two characters that you're playing. It's Judy in Trouble in Mind, the regular play, but then in the play is Carrie. So tell us a little bit about Carrie.
Carrie is that Southern belle, daddy's little girl, doesn't really, she understands the separation, but she's still that young Southern girl, and those are her friends. She grew up with all of them, and to her, they are family, as it was back then as well. The children ended up being basically family with the slaves and housekeepers because they did all of the work. So she's very close with them, but I think Carrie has a little bit more insight as to why there's an issue than Judy does.
Yeah. And we see Judy evolve from Act 1 to Act 2. So I'm excited for the audience to see to see that evolution. What are some things that you would like for the audience to have as your personal takeaway, from the character of Judy first, and then And that would be more, I would say, I guess it would be personal. And then just overall from the play. So the two things, from the character of Judy, and then just overall, what would you like the audience to take away from this experience?
So Judy is kind of like that extra, I kind of feel like she's that extra inclusion of the white population, where she's not so much the authoritative, I'm better than you kind of people. She's
Like
more
Al
on their
Maris.
level. Yeah, she's very opposite of Al. She's more on their level. So she has the same, not necessarily same background or same experiences, but a lot of their lifestyles, I think, are more similar. So she's kind of more, at least where I would sit, in the experience of life and race and all of that. So if you see Al and you're like, oh, he's such a bad guy, or if you maybe relate more to Al, but just know that like not all white people are like Al, and like that's why they have Eddie to kind of have that little difference in there. And then there's Judy, who's more on the same level as them, and so they have all the different parts, like all the social aspects of a white person in relation to an African American, and she's kind of the more I guess interactive and understands and more like compatible with them.
Yeah, that's good. I like the way you explained that. So when you see, as Judy, you see what Willetta is going through without giving a whole lot away. What do you think she feels about seeing this ensuing, I would say, battle between Willetta and Al?
I do think it makes her sad because she is also a woman. She's seeing Willetta is very experienced in this field, and she's wanting to do stuff, and Judy is wanting to do things like this, and this is being her first experience is very off-putting, I think. She's very sad for Willetta because it's kind of eye-opening as to how the career, what it can look like. Even though there are different backgrounds, she is kind of getting that experience of what a woman or what like a black woman would experience in this, and it makes her uncomfortable and it makes her sad, but she doesn't know how to insert herself, and she kind of stands off to the side and just kind of gets upset about it, but doesn't know how to do anything about it.
Right. What are some similarities between you and Judy, or even you and Carrie, that you've kind of picked up on?
Judy, when she first comes in, she's very anxious, which I am also very anxious, especially in like new areas. She just kind of like stands off to the side, kind of is getting the feel for things. But especially in conflict that doesn't specifically involve her, she kind of stands off to the side and just kind of takes it all in. And I feel like I do that at times. Like I don't walk away from it and completely ignore it, but I don't really know how to always say something. And I feel like that's a big similarity with me and Judy.
One word to describe Judy?
Naive, I guess.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I see that.
So it does end on a cliffhanger. If you're wanting to see the actual play within a play, it doesn't happen. Sorry. We don't know what happens. So there's
we get to use our minds on that part.
you gotta fill in the blanks, I guess. And then during rehearsals, I think just seeing everyone fall into their characters and the way that we've kind of become more comfortable and we can joke around with each other, it's really fun. It's been really fun. It's been a fun experience.
It has been. As a director, it has been for me seeing you all become more comfortable with your characters and starting to see, okay, yes, we've got to play.
Right, especially being more comfortable with each other. Like we're laughing and joking around a lot more. It's a lot. It's more fun. It's fun.
Well, Bailey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Absolutely,
you.
always.
Well, thank you all for joining us for this episode of Red Curtain Talk, and we'll see you on the next one.